Hello folks, this is Gabriel ILiadis with songwriterandproducer.com, and today I will continue talking about the deconstruction of a song I've written and fully produced. And this is a continuation of a previous video that discussed the introduction. Now we're moving into deconstructing the verse 1. I will play this on my DAW. You can find the video right here on Songwriter and Producer. It's called Suddenly, and the verse starts at around 40 seconds. So let me play this.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely, 'cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, what I foresee.
Okay. By the way, the website is songwriterandproducer.com, and here you'll find a blog where we discuss a lot about songwriting and producing. Let's move to the DAW, and
suddenly
things sound a lot more intense here. I've made some changes, so this has been enhanced from the video. As you probably have gathered by now, this is a lot about the vocals. 80% of the space here is basically vocals and a lot of the bass. There's a piano and a few other things I'll go through, but let's hear the vocal first by itself. I will play the 3 tracks that comprise the vocal.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely, 'cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable.
I'm mistaken, actually. There's 3 more for harmonies.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, what I foresee.
Okay, so a lot of good stuff here to my ears. This sounds incredibly good. Let's deconstruct it further by looking to see what else is playing while the vocals are playing, and before we go into the vocals and see what has happened there. So here's the piano. I'm sorry, this is the bass. Here's the piano right here. And there's a little bit of this is leaking into this track, so it's 2 tracks, but really 1 piano.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely, 'cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly,
let's take the vocals out since we're talking about the instrumentation of what else is there. I knew I left 1 out. So this is, again, the piano. These 2 tracks right here. By the way, listen to the realism of this piano. Okay, so this is a piano I played, which is a virtual instrument, but you can hear even when the pedals are pressed. Okay, amazing realism to me. It's a MIDI piano, a MIDI recording, and you can see the MIDI track here. I have shortened the length, and after some processing, I have just the audio here. What else is happening here? There's a keyboard arpeggio type of instrument here that it's adding to the rhythm, so it adds rhythmically. I love this. Let me make this wide. Love the sound. Okay, let me tuck it in as I had it before. With a piano, it gives a sense of urgency. Okay, so what else do I have here? Here's the bass. Very important part of the mix here, the bass. A lot of energy, as you probably know. If you're a producer, you know that it's very difficult to make a bass sound bassy, yet not destroy a mix and take a lot or suck a lot of the energy out of a mix, which of course takes away from everything else, and especially the vocals. Another virtual instrument here, bass. And these two tracks here are some weird percussion sounds I added that also add to the rhythmic value of the production here. Let me take everything else out. Okay, so these two. This one is more of a kick drum sound, which is heavily, I guess, EQ'd. And this, you can call this whatever. It's a weird, very heavily processed type of snare. Well, we'll go through the plugins later. So, and this is the second half. A lot of rhythmic value, production value, is added to the second half of the verse. So this is verse 1, half 2, and this is half 1, this is half 2. So let's hear what else we have. We have an oboe. Actually, we have a duduka. I love this. Listen to this. Another extremely realistic virtual instrument. Listen to the sound of the blow. Okay, this is a wing instrument. Possibly Indian descent. I have to read about this. A lot of people thought this was a saxophone. It's not a saxophone, but whatever it is, it sounds incredibly good. Okay, here's the inactive track of the VST, and this is the audio post-processing. And I have an oboe here, same thing. Here's the VST inactive, and here's what it sounds like. Okay, this adds a lot to the value. I think you'll see to the second half. Very difficult to tuck this in so that it does not collide with frequencies of the vocal. I'll talk about all of that in a different video. So let's go and look at the vocals, because that's where all the hot action is. This is the vocals right here. Harmonies are these three channels. This is the main channel. This is a secondary. We'll talk about what this does. And this is the auxiliary, the aux channel, which does a lot. And as you see, this is the automation for that. So let's see what's up.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
Okay, this is about half of the first half. Okay, so this is about a quarter. So what we see here is that we have the piano and we have the bass, and then everything else is vocal. So very, very naked. And for those that watched the previous video that described what's happening here before the verse, which is the introduction, we had a lot of energy, especially during the second half of the introduction. So things calm down. Calming down here.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable.
Okay, so first half of the first verse, and we already saw a little bit of rhythmic action here with the weird percussion. Bop, 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 bop.
Suddenly, everything.
And now this guy goes in.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be.
You can probably hear it on the right side. You know, I have it tucked in so that we can hear this better. So from a placement standpoint.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming
Here's the
who
oboe.
I'm supposed to be. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
Just for fun, let's show you the imaging automation of the oboe via three different angles here: width, asymmetry, and rotation. Watch what happens live.
I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee? It's more than banging loud.
Okay, we got into the chorus, but that's okay. Let's go back to the vocal. Let's turn everything off with respect to plugins. And let's look at just the first channel, naked, raw.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable.
Okay.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be.
It's very well tracked.
The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
There's some sibilance here, but we're attacking that with a de-esser. I have a very simple preset from Ozone. I'm pronouncing, there it is, right here, vintage high end, so I'm pronouncing the high end.
Suddenly,
not much of a difference.
My beating heart is beating again for you.
Then I am using the 33609 as the compressor.
Suddenly,
And look at the benefit. The really balanced tracking is helping this guy do its job. This is what I mean when I say that when you track good vocals well, you get incredibly good enhancement when you get into especially things like your compression, especially with an incredible compressor like this, which, by the way, for those that know this and hear this voice, you'd think that these two would not go well together because this is a rock voice. It has a lot of middle and it has a rawness, a roughness, a little bit of grit. And this is a gritty type of compressor. You probably would think maybe an 1176 would fit here. Nevertheless, it worked, and that's all that matters. I go to this a lot for not only vocals, but other things, especially at the master bus, different discussion, different video. But look at the difference. Without.
suddenly,
And just with the compressor.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
I mean, this has made her sound like she's next to your ear. You can hear her breath. Anything that needs to come up came up, and anything that needs to come down came down. And I'm not talking about EQing. I'm talking about how well balanced this has worked. I'm not going to talk about the settings here. This is a whole video just for this. Then a de-esser. I don't think a lot happens with this de-esser, nor I need it. But let's see.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
Yeah, this de-esser I think probably does nothing. I don't know why I use it. This is about 1.5 years ago that I did this. Oh, this guy. I added this now, like a few minutes ago. It was not, this is not in the video. The VOG adds to the bass of the vocal.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought.
And then I EQ'd, adding further to the bass.
Suddenly,
you can hear everything right now.
my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable.
I mean, to me, this sounds incredible, especially with what I did here. This is hidden. You cannot even see it. But by the way, I'll talk about on a different video how when EQing on a side basis, left or right, magic happens. This guy, this increase at this frequency, 262.45, is happening only on the left, and then the other one only on the right, which is above the 12 dB. So bottom line, this sounds like as such before.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
And now, and it sounds as such after.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
Really, really good this sounds to me. I didn't stop there, of course. We have 2 more things to talk about, 2 more tracks. So I took this same exact audio into a different track, and I usually don't do this, but in this case I did, which is I made this my reverb track. Usually I use an aux track for this, and I'll talk about what this does in addition to this track. But let's see what this track does. First, without.
Suddenly,
Very tucked in. Mono.
my beating heart.
Okay, this is wide. but this is not.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating.
So first, compressed it.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible.
This is the big thing that's happening here, the IR1 reverb.
Suddenly,
okay, this is the effect we're getting.
my beating heart is beating again freely.
So it's a very deep slap type of a reverb. There's more than slap into it, but nevertheless, and a de-esser. Does it even do anything here? Let's see. Oh yeah, look at this. This is attenuating.
My beating heart is beating again freely.
Heavily. Okay, so from this,
Suddenly,
we got the sister track, let's call it,
my beating heart is beating.
which is adding to our reverb.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
So yeah, now it sounds like a slap. Things change dramatically now from this track by itself
Suddenly, my beating heart.
to this.
Suddenly,
But didn't stop there. I added this guy, which does a ton. For those that watched the previous video with the introduction, you saw the VX1 there. So this is an aux. First, let's see. I don't want to make this a technical video, but this track is sending its output to this aux, and via this setup, sending input to this, and it further processes the outcome. In what way? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways. First, the VX1, which does more than 5 things in itself. And let's hear, I'm going to turn the other ones off. I'm also going to turn this off. So just the first track with its aux effect with.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again free.
This was Gabriel ILiadis with songwriter and producer.com. Thanks for watching, folks. Could say this is a different, additional reverb, although it has a ton more than a reverb, okay? We have a tone control here. We have decay, delay, or delay and control of the delay. Effects, a lot of things are happening. Different contour than in the introduction video, which I use contour 1, you know, different settings here in the EQ. It doesn't really matter. I'm not going to go through these. The point is this.
Suddenly,
With?
My beating heart
Without?
is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable.
Then what? Then something that is further enhancing this whole effect takes place, which is the H delay. A lot of action here, a lot of action. The important things are, one is the host, linkage for the BPM. I'm not going to go further into this, but the big one is this guy, the automation of the output. Very effective in affecting the output, the musical outputs. Let's hear.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable.
I'm going to turn it off.
Thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable.
A lot of work went into the automation here, because when I turn it down, it's not listening to produce delay, but when I turn it up, it is. So depending on what the lyrics say and where I want, and rhythmically what happens, where it makes sense to add a delay effect, we go up. And when we want to turn it off, we go down. Okay?
Suddenly, Suddenly,
sorry, I had it off.
Suddenly, My beating heart is beating again freely.
Okay, the number one principle for delay. A delay will be used when we have space to fill. Of course, nothing is certain or cut and dry in music. Everything can be used in a creative way that will bring results that are, I guess, unique. Next plugin here, EQing, taking certain frequencies at the highs, adding a little bit into the mids, and taking some of the lows out.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
A little bit of a difference, not much. This guy is usually used for voiceovers, but I love using it. When a lot of these plugins, if you're using any of these, create a lot of noise. And it's annoying many times. The VX1 is one of them. There are others. And I'm using this guy to just as a gate, basically, because that's what it is, to turn down a lot of the noise.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
You can see it work. And then add de-esser. Let's see what it does.
Suddenly, my beating...
Immediately the sibilance has been tucked in. It has been controlled. Let's go back here.
She wasn't probable. Suddenly, everything has changed within me.
Okay.
I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be.
So, let's add the, let's call it sister reverb track, as I called it before. And here...
Change within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
Again, we started with this vocal. Let's start here.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be.
This is the singer singing in the studio. Yes, there's been a lot of editing here I'm not going to talk about. I will make videos of real production, real time, and we'll see a lot of the editing. But for now, this is deconstruction, so no more detail is required for now. And this is where we are.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
There are 3 tracks we did not go over, and this is the harmonies. Okay.
Change within me.
So this is to this.
Change within me. Change within me.
Another thing that I changed just a few minutes ago that is not in the video is we have 2 harmonies. One of those I added a reverb to give it a width effect. This I'll take out.
Has changed within me.
So okay, just the harmony.
Change within me.
Previously.
Suddenly.
Okay. to this.
Suddenly,
I love the melodic aspect of this. To go from this main melody
suddenly,
to add this,
suddenly,
to get...
suddenly,
let me take everything off.
Suddenly.
So you can barely hear it. When I take everything out, you can barely hear this. Let me start here.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me.
Change within me, I have a lot more pronounced than previously. I love how it sounds. What about here? What do we have here?
The detriment is gonna...
Sounds really good. So the main melody is...
The detriment is gone, I feel so free. The detriment is gone, I feel so free.
And look at the harmonic effect.
The detriment is gone, I feel so free.
And I do not even have the aux on.
The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
Beautiful. This sounds really, really good. Melodically, mix-wise, processing-wise, timing, everything. Because I like this last part. Let's hear just the harmonies of this.
Would I foresee?
What an incredible singer this. I mean, listen to this.
Would I foresee?
To the main melody of this.
I would I foresee?
I'm sorry, this guy.
I would I foresee?
I just love playing with harmonies, guys. I love stacking those.
I would I foresee?
Are you kidding?
Rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee? Rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
And yes, the aux in this case makes it really busy, maybe not needed to be so busy, but
A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
and what incredible timing we have here. So, all together, let's hear this one more time. I will talk about the bass in the last few minutes here.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable. Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
Okay, bass. Right here. Without any processing. You can probably tell this is upright. Simple melody, but it has to sound good. I love this. Incredibly, this bass's realism a lot of this comes from the high frequencies. Look at this. So there's a lot of energy here. Look at this. Yeah, especially when it does those tricks. I mean, if I take this out, I tried this before, in a high cut, I'll make the slope really, really, really intense. So look at this. If I take, for example, anything above 1000. All the beauty disappeared. Look at this. Now we can hear the bass. A lot of people don't realize this, that there's a lot of highs in a good bass. Of course, what happens in the mix is very different. We're just listening to one track. As I mentioned in the previous video, just listening to one track is irrelevant. I don't do it. I do it just to get an idea, and then I move on, and things change when you put any track into a mix, especially when we have a number of tracks, a large number of tracks. In this case, we don't. What else did I do? VOG, once again, will make things a lot more bassy. Without, see, goes away. A lot of the bassiness goes away. And it comes back now here. This is good for vocals. I like this on vocals, but I prefer the R bass for bass. In this case, I used LVOG. But this is what made the selection of the correct compressor is what made a huge difference to me. In the mix, it's a lot more evident.
Suddenly, my beating heart is beating again freely.
If I take this out,
my beating heart is beating again freely.
I took the punch out. The punch of the bass is enhanced with the CLA 3A.
My beating heart is beating again freely. 'Cause I have found what I thought impossible. My misery I thought to be unstoppable. My dreams have fled, my future was improbable.
Let's listen to the second half at the end.
Suddenly, everything has changed within me. I'm finally becoming who I'm supposed to be. The detriment is gone, I feel so free. A rainbow painted in the sky, would I foresee?
This was Gabriel ILiadis with songwriter and producer.com. Thanks for watching, folks.